So recently I made the very wise decision to spend all my life savings and buy this $5,000 camera. And it was just because I was interested in videography, getting cinematic footage. And so just to kind of test it out, I went on a trip with some friends around Australia, and I was in charge of just getting, cool shots and making like a cool montage at the end. And on the first day, after a very long day of just shooting everywhere, we sat down at a table. I set up my camera with the tripod, the $5,000 camera, behind us just to get some footage. And we were playing Drink or Truth, just a harmless game of Drink and Truth. And we played that for a few hours, and everyone was getting a bit tipsy. And so I almost kind of forgot about the camera. But then, like, as soon as we finished the game, and everyone got up and went off to their rooms or went off to do whatever. And I just turn around and I hear a massive, just like crash and shatter. And when I turn around, I just see my camera in two bits. And it turned out that one of the guys who was feeling a bit tipsy didn't see the camera on the way back. And so he just knocked it over. Like he just walked right on top of it. And the worst part is, that same guy who knocked it over told me 2 hours before that he may knock it over. He was basically like, hey man, I don't think your camera's in a safe place, like, because everyone's going to be a bit tipsy, and so, after we're done, people might walk and knock it over. And at the time, I dismissed him. I was like, no, it's fine. Everyone can see it. It's obvious. It's right there. Like, it's a huge thing. Like, how can you not see that? And yeah, end up biting my words. So the reason I wanted to share this story is not because I was like mad. Like in the moment, I was like, it was like a mix of like just kind of like anger, but also not really, because I couldn't like blame him. It was obviously like my fault for not listening to his words and not moving it to a closer place. And even though he offered to pay, like ultimately I was like, no, I got it. Like it was my fault. And so the reason I'm telling you this is because even though in many cases in life, it's someone else's like fault for doing something bad or knocking over a camera or doing whatever that's negative, it's always your responsibility. So even though it's their literal fault, it's always your responsibility for what happens to you. So in this case, like it doesn't really matter whose fault it was. Ultimately, like I take responsibility for the fact that the camera was knocked over. And this is like a mindset that I'm trying to like bring to other areas of my life, because it's a mindset I never had for the longest time. I would constantly just blame other people, and it brought a huge amount of unhappiness. And the reason is, and I realized very recently, it's because I'm giving other people control. So when I'm blaming someone, I'm basically saying, okay, it's like they're in charge. They can do what they want, and ultimately, they have the responsibility. Whereas instead, if I say, okay, it's actually my responsibility for everything that happens, and I take control over what I can, it's actually very liberating. And so that's the moral I got from this story, and that's like the takeaway I have going to 2025. Always take responsibility for something, even if it appears to be someone else's fault. Now, with that being said, I did manage to get some potentially sick footage before the camera was broken, so enjoy a little vlog and the cool montage I got. So, enjoy.
Hey everyone, so just filming some friends doing some surfing. It's been quite the trip. Filming in the water is definitely quite scary, because otherwise I'm gonna get my camera wet. So every time a wave comes, I just gotta like jump up, which, yeah, it's kind of like that. But yeah, just gonna shoot some footage of my friends doing some surfing, and hopefully we can get some cool shots. So here you go.
I keep on searching for the words I wanna say. I'm hitting the bottle like a younger Hemingway. Hey, you're really something. Am I interrupting? It looks like you wanna leave, for sure there is a way.